This week, a member of the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society, a group that uses direct action to end what it considers illegal fishing in the ocean, was taken into custody after he boarded a Japanese whaling vessel. The incident involving Captain Peter Bethune has drawn attention to whaling practices and is part of an escalation of actions between Japan's whaling fleet and the activists. The Japanese government considers the actions of the group illegal. FSRN spoke to Captain Paul Watson of the Sea Shepherd ship Steve Irwin. He spoke to FSRN by satellite phone from the ship about 500 miles from the coast of Antarctica. He began by describing what happened when Peter Bethune boarded the Japanese vessel.
Captain Bethune boarded the Japanese whaling fleet security vessel Shonan Maru under cover of darkness while it was going along at full speed. It was a very courageous thing, and very risky, but he got on board. And he was on board for an hour and a half before he was discovered. He was discovered by simply knocking on the door of the bridge house wheel door and presenting himself. We had that covered by video from our helicopter. He went on board to deliver a message asking the captain of the Shonan Maru to go to the nearest New Zealand and Australia port to turn himself in for sinking the Audi Gill and for the attempted murder of 6 of the Audi Gill crew members. And then the Japanese took him into custody and detained him, and I understand they're on their way to Japan, which I find absolutely amazing that they're sending in a ship for 3 weeks just to carry one person prisoner back to Japan.
And just for a moment to back up a second, it stems from an incident on January 6, 2010 this year. What happened then?
On January 6, the Audi Gill, the Sea Shepherd vessel, it's a fast patrol boat, was sitting still in the water when the Shonan Maru number 2 came by, deliberately turned into it, rammed it, cut it in half, sunk it, and destroyed it, and narrowly missed killing 6 of the crew on board. The Audi Gill was registered in New Zealand. New Zealand did nothing, not even a reprimand or a rebuke to Japan for this, and so Peter Bethune, as a New Zealand citizen, decided that since his government wasn't going to represent his interests, he went on board the Shonan Maru to demand that the captain of the Shonan Maru address that crime.
And as you say, Peter Bethune is reportedly on his way back to Japan now, possibly to face charges. What would be the charges that he would face?
Well, that'd be very interesting. I can't see what charges he could possibly face. He simply went on board the vessel to present a message to the captain about the sinking of his vessel, the Audi Gill. The Japanese were talking about charging him with piracy. I find it highly ludicrous after that ship had sunk his vessel that they would charge him with piracy for basically protesting the fact that the ship was sunk. They're also saying that he injured 3 crew members on the Shonan Maru number 2 on February 11th. They accused him of throwing butyric acid or rotten butter into their face, which caused eye damage. But as it is, we actually videotaped that, and it's on our website. The injuries were self-inflicted when the Japanese tried to hit our crew with pepper spray. And you can see on the video, they pull the trigger on their canisters of pepper spray. The wind blows it back in their faces. You see them rubbing their eyes and obviously irritated. So we have the evidence that, in fact, those injuries were self-inflicted, so that would be a very easy charge for Peter to defend himself on.
Now, to get some context into what is going on, there is a ban on commercial whaling, but Japan has an exception to that. Can you explain what that exception is?
They don't have an exception. They say they have an exception, but it's not as simple as that. They're targeting endangered whales, that is fin whales, and protected whales, minke whales, are also targeting humpback whales, which are endangered, in an established international whale sanctuary in violation of a global moratorium on whaling and in violation of the Antarctic Treaty. Now, Japan argues, well, they have a right to do this for so-called scientific research, although they have produced a single peer-reviewed international scientific paper in 23 years. But even if they had the right, say, to do it for scientific research, they're in violation of the Antarctic Treaty, which prohibits commercial activity in the Southern Ocean. This is a sanctuary. You don't kill whales in a sanctuary. And they're also in contempt of the Australian Federal Court, which has ruled and that they are prohibited from killing whales in the Australian Antarctic territory, and they ignored that. So what they're doing is criminal. They are poachers. They are no different than poachers who kill elephants in East Africa, except East African elephant poachers are black and they're poor. That's the only difference.
That's Captain Paul Watson of the Sea Shepherd ship Steve Irwin. He spoke to us by satellite phone from his ship about recent actions against Japanese whaling practices.